beneath the scorching sun of the Egyptian desert, nestled between golden dunes and the slow, eternal whisper of the Nile, lie the secrets of the most enigmatic rulers the world has ever known. They called themselves gods, kings who ruled with divine authority, whose names were etched into stone for eternity, only for many of their lives to fade into the shadows of history. But buried deep beneath layers of time, deceit, and myth, their secrets still pulse in the sands, waiting to be uncovered. This is the chilling secrets behind ancient Egyptian pharaohs you have never heard of. And if you like exploring darkest corners of history, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Imagine being born into a world where you're not just royalty, you're a living god, where the sun itself is said to rise and set at your command, where thousands bow at your feet, temples are carved in your image, and your every breath is considered sacred. But beneath the golden mask and divine titles lies something far more intriguing: ambition, betrayal, obsession, and fear. The pharaohs of ancient Egypt weren't just majestic rulers. They were humans, caught between myth and mortality, building legacies meant to last forever, only to be buried, forgotten, or deliberately erased. Let's begin with a death. It is 1323 BCE. In the Valley of the Kings, a young boy king lies in a golden coffin. His name, once lost to time, was Tutankhamun. He ruled for just 9 years and died before reaching 20. A minor figure in Egypt's grand timeline, yet his tomb was destined to rewrite history, untouched by looters, filled with unimaginable treasures. His burial chamber would be discovered more than 3,000 years later, captivating the world in a frenzy known as Tutmania. But what killed the boy king? Malaria, a chariot accident, a political assassination? To this day, scholars debate the truth, and some whisper that he was the victim of a deadly conspiracy aimed at erasing a religious revolution. That revolution had a name: Akhenaten. Tutankhamun's father was no ordinary pharaoh. Akhenaten was a heretic, a visionary, or perhaps a madman. He shattered centuries of tradition by proclaiming that Egypt would no longer worship its many gods. Only one god mattered: Aten, the sun disk. In a single generation, Akhenaten uprooted Egypt's religious and artistic foundations. He moved the capital to a new city, Amarna, built from scratch in the desert. He changed how pharaohs were depicted, not as rigid statues of perfection, but as elongated, vulnerable figures. And when he died, Egypt did something remarkable. It tried to erase him. His name was chiseled out of monuments. His city was abandoned, his memory buried. But the story didn't end there. The priesthood, long sidelined by Akhenaten's reforms, regained control. Under the guidance of the powerful general Horemheb, Egypt returned to its old gods. The temples reopened, and with them, the might of Amun, Ra, Isis, and Osiris was restored. Young Tutankhamun, once named Tutankhaten in honor of Aten, changed his name and his allegiance. But even he may have paid the price for his father's heresy. His early death left a vacuum, and into it stepped a commoner who would become one of Egypt's most unlikely kings. His name was Horemheb, a general with no royal blood. Horemheb seized power and did what any good ruler would do. He rewrote history. He made himself the last pharaoh of the glorious 18th dynasty, erasing the names of those who came before. To the gods and future generations, Akhenaten, Smenkhkare, and Tutankhamun were ghosts. But history, as it often does, refused to stay buried. Centuries earlier, another pharaoh had also tried to master history: Thutmose III. Often called the Napoleon of ancient Egypt, he was a military genius who expanded Egypt's empire farther than ever before. But what's lesser known is that his rise to power was delayed for over 2 decades by a woman. Her name was Hatshepsut, a daughter of a king, wife of a king, and eventually king herself. Not queen, king. Hatshepsut dressed in male regalia, wore the pharaoh's false beard, and ruled as Egypt's sovereign. She declared herself the chosen of the gods, and under her reign, Egypt flourished. Trade boomed, art and architecture blossomed. The magnificent mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari still stands as a testament to her ambition. But when Thutmose III finally took power, he did something curious. He tried to erase her. Just like Akhenaten, her statues were smashed, her name scratched off. Why? Was it vengeance or politics? Some believe Thutmose wanted to reassert the male dominance of kingship. Others think he simply sought to legitimize his own rule. Whatever the reason, her legacy survived. And then there was Ramses. Not one, but many. Ramses II, known as Ramses the Great, is perhaps the most famous of them all. He reigned for 66 years, fathered over 100 children, and fought one of the most legendary battles of the ancient world, the Battle of Kadesh. Though he claimed a great victory, the truth is more complicated. The battle was a stalemate. But Ramses, ever the master of propaganda, had his version carved in stone across Egypt. He built more monuments than any other pharaoh, including the colossal statues at Abu Simbel. His image is everywhere, his name immortal. But was he a great leader or a great self-promoter? Maybe both. In the end, it didn't matter. Ramses understood the true secret of the pharaohs. If you control the story, you control history. And that brings us to perhaps the most haunting tale of all. In the early 20th century, archaeologists unearthed a cache of royal mummies, hidden in a tomb in Deir el-Bahari. These were not grand burials. These were emergency reburials, hurriedly done to protect the remains of the kings from looters. Among them was a mummy, known only as Unknown Man E. His mouth was agape, his face twisted in agony. Unlike the other pharaohs, his body was not embalmed properly. He was wrapped in sheepskin, a material considered ritually impure. Who was he? Some believe he was Prince Pentawere, son of Ramses III, implicated in a harem conspiracy to murder his father and steal the throne. The prince was forced to commit suicide, his name cursed and erased. If true, then this anguished mummy may be the only physical proof of ancient Egypt's most scandalous royal crime. So much of what we know about the pharaohs is filtered through time, written by scribes who served the victors, carved by artisans who shaped divine propaganda. But beneath the gold and glory were real people, dreamers, schemers, tyrants, and visionaries. They weren't just gods, they were human, and their secrets, though buried in stone and sand, still whisper to us, daring us to listen. The desert keeps its silence, but history remembers. Their world shaped ours more than we may ever know. And the more we dig, the more we understand. Not just history, but the legacy we carry forward. So the next time you see the sands of Egypt, remember, the pharaohs are still speaking. Are we listening? Subscribe, like, and share your thoughts using the comment section. See you in my next historical video.